Hey everybody, it's me, Briggsell, playing Company of Heroes 2 with the new add-on pack or DLC or whatever the hell it's called. Western Front, Armies, whatever. This is it, I'm playing it. Or I'm not playing it. At this moment in time, I am doing nothing, or as little to nothing in this game as possible, because what I'm doing is I'm letting the AI play each other. The reason behind this is twofold. One is research, and two is so that I can actually get some war spoils. Now I'll come on to war spoils in a minute. The first, let me just clarify what I mean by letting the AI play out together. Well, what I want to see really is how well the AI react to each other, because all I see in this game is me playing against the AI. That's all that happens. So I thought to myself, why not just let the AI play together? Just have a good old fight. Now I'm expecting my side to win because I've set my side to be hard and the other computers, the enemy, to be standard. So I'm expecting my side to win. Eventually, I'm hoping. I'll come on to that in a minute. Why I want them to eventually to win. First thing is I need to just quickly set up this other command area, and then I can start running through a video basically showing you what this forces add, because there's no point me doing a video about random stuff if I'm not going to show you what this game's all about. So let me just build this group here. So I want to see how well the Allies do against each other, the Germans against the Americans. I'm only playing Oberkommando against the US forces because that's just the way I play. I don't particularly like the Russian forces, and I don't particularly like the other German setups, but that doesn't mean I don't and will not play. It just means that I'd like to avoid them if possible. Anyway, the reason why I'm doing what I am doing for the most part is war spoils. Now war spoils are something new that the add-on pack, or is something new that the add-on pack added to the game. War spoils is a bit like a drop system, and the drop system includes new commanders that offer new units and such, and bulletins, and new skins for vehicles, new commanders, I've said that already, new war plates, which are the plates that go around your name in the game. Basically a little bit of nicey stuff. It doesn't really affect anything, and they range a bit like World of Warcraft items. You know, green is uncommon, blue is rare, and purple are completely, you know, epic, or whatever the phrase you want to refer to them as. Now these war spoils, they happen roughly every 3 hours of in-game time, win or lose. The problem with that is, for me, is that I don't play very often, and I don't play for 3 hours. Occasionally I'll play an Annihilation game like this one, for instance, and it'll last a lot longer. It'll last for an hour or so, but that is as far as it goes. So unless you are a player that plays this game constantly, and there are players out there that will, and if they play online or against computers, they're going to unlock a lot more than what I'm going to unlock just for my average time playing. This is Relic, or whoever, THQ, I don't even think they exist anymore, Sega, are trying to balance the game out so that new players, when they come to the game, they're not going to get stomped. Well, they are going to get stomped, because the bulletins that are unlocked and the commanders that are unlocked are all based off the time that you play in the game now, rather than the ones that are unlocked because of your level, and that's still about the amount of time, but the ones that you also unlock from just playing the game. Now if someone's played the game for 50 hours, they're going to have more stuff than the guy who's going to be playing for 2 hours. It's that simple. So how is this a balance? Well, the balance is in the randomness of it. You're not guaranteed to get anything that you want when you play this game. So for instance, I could play this game for 3 hours, and I've played this game for a lot longer than that, but I've only had I think four drops. Okay, since I bought this game back when it came out, the add-on pack that is. 2 of which I can't use as this group. 1 of which is a Russian thing, which I will never use because I hardly play Russians, and I mean hardly. When I refer to the term hardly, I mean almost never. There we go. But beforehand, before the add-on pack came along, it was all about buying DLC for the new commanders and some of the new bulletins or whatever, some of the new units as it were, and just generally playing for the bulletins. Now it's the other way around. You see, the money that I spent on DLC for the Company Heroes 2, for the commanders and such, are now all available for free if you play this game for long enough. They will eventually technically be available to anybody who plays this game, depending on how long you want to play for. Now you'll notice that I haven't done anything so far. Let me just run through a couple of things before this game actually finishes, because it looks like the hard AI is absolutely stomping the standard AI, which is good form. Very good form. Okay, so for the Uber Commandos, however you want to refer to it, you start off with a little kind of forward base. After about 20 seconds, you get a second base, which you can create one of 3 things. The first thing is the battle group headquarters, which allows you to create a retreat point, gives you a variety of different vehicles. The Jagdpanzer IV-70, which is actually pretty shit. The half-track infrared searchlight, which has come out of someone's arse, basically allows you to scan for targets. I don't know how that actually ever worked. And the infantry support gun, which is a very, very useful little unit. I'll build one and I'll explain what it's all about. And then we have the second mechanized unit that comes out after about 3 minutes after you've installed the first one. This one is the Mechanized Regiment Headquarters. It offers you 3 vehicles. A Stuka half-track launcher thingamabob that you could get in the first game. You've got the Puma heavy armor tank, which is the 5cm gun or the 50mm or whatever, and the flak half-track, which is also a very good unit. This half-track is brilliant. And then you've got the third supply truck to come out. Now this brings the Svir Panzer headquarters. This gives you some of the heavy armor, but it also gives you a bit of a defensive unit. It gives you this little flak Panther 20mm flak thing. It fires guns, shoots and stuff, and this offers all the other stuff. The actual headquarters themselves, once you've got the 3, you can then go on to build the Tiger B Königstiger, which is a very good basically a King Tiger, as I'd describe it. This Mechanized Regiment Headquarters allows you to do munition transfer and fuel transfer. This is really, really useful, because at the start of the game you want as much fuel as possible, because you want to be able to build all 3 of these things as quick as possible. You use this as you would the British forces in the first game you would play back in the old days in Company of Heroes, when you would play the British, except that you don't have as much defensive capabilities. Fair enough. Anyway, you have a variety of other armor here, not as much as I was expecting. I was expecting loads more, but then again, I've only got 3 commanders to choose from, so I can't actually show you anything better than what you see here. You've got a range of different infantry. You've got some big Obserladen or whatever they're called. We've got some Volksgrenadiers and Storm Pioneer Squad, which I've got one over there. Anyway, the infantry support gun is a very, very useful thing, because what it does is it fires kind of salvos at the enemy like that, and it's basically a really light artillery piece. It doesn't do very much damage against everything. It only really does damage against infantry, and that's only when it's upgraded slightly to a certain degree, which it isn't. You'll also notice that there are a lot more veterancy ranks that you can get for this team. That's because that is one of the bonuses for the Oberkommandos. That's why it's called the Oberkommandos, because it allows you to be better. There we go. So that's the infantry. Most of the infantry you're going to encounter. There is one more set of infantry for one of the standard commandos that you can get, which are the paratroopers, or the I can't remember what their name is actually, but anyway. Let's build King Tiger, and then we're going to finish off this enemy. Might as well just group them all together. I've got so much. I can just build so much stuff. This flak half track is actually very good. It doesn't track aircraft at all, which seems a bit silly, but it will rip up our infantry incredibly easy. But it can only fire when it's stationary. So it has to set up. It takes a few seconds. That's where you may get issues. Anyway, so let us just attack move a fire. There we go. And let's just send them along the way. We'll follow them like this. We'll do the same for that as well. So yeah. The problem I find with this is that, as I've mentioned earlier, is the amount of time that you have to spend to unlock all the stuff that you want. I play as the Germans because of a variety of different reasons, but the main reason is because I played the Germans a lot when I was playing Company of Heroes 1. It's one of the only kind of groups or teams that I used so much. So, because of its defensive capabilities, I'm a very defensive player. I like to play against the eye, and I like to build up what is classed as a defensive line and then build from the defensive line. That's the way I play. So let's just watch this for a second. So this flak half track just rips enemies up. It just absolutely murders them. What you will not notice or see, or you may not have noticed, should I say, is the fact that there is no kind of mortar capabilities, which is a shame, really. And I imagine maybe there's a commander out there that does offer them, but I've not seen such a thing. So here we go. Here it is. So let's just follow this thing around. So this is the King Tiger, or what, the Königs Tiger. My infantry are getting murdered over there, but it is slow. It's not particularly easy to turn. The turret's really slow, but generally it's a very, very good tank against any other armour. It will absolutely wipe the floor with it. Anyway, I've shared with you some thoughts. I've shared with you some issues that I have with the game, and in the end, you can judge for yourselves. I know a lot of you on this channel would have already played some of the game. That's a fact, and you will know for yourself. But I'm fairly disappointed with the way the game has turned out, because I have a lot of bulletins for my Germans on the other Germans, as it were, the East Front Germans, which is fine. You get to keep those bulletins, which is absolutely fine. But the whole point of the war spoils and such is to build on a kind of balance. There is no balance if everyone has still got what they've earned before, you know, based on the achievements and such, you know. So it's a little silly the way that they've made the war spoils. They've also changed the way that loadouts work, and to begin with, that is incredibly confusing. Incredibly confusing. For some reason I still have to order these people forward. Anyway, I'm hoping this ends soon because I can then show you, well, basically what happens when and if you get war spoils. I am due a war spoil. I know this because I've been playing pretty much all week hoping for something to drop, and nothing's dropped so far, so I'm fairly hopeful that something will pop up. The Sturm Tiger you see here has got the ability to fire a really large shell, which you saw a couple of times already, but it takes about 45 seconds to reload. So until then, until it's reloaded, it's an absolutely useless piece of shit. It fires once every 45 seconds. If you get the right hit, it will absolutely murder everything you would ever want. We've got a Sherman 105 there. We'll see if we can murder, because I reckon 3 shots will get that. There's one. Front armour, of course. And if that's anything to believe, it's something like 76mm, but there we go, 3 shots. That was a complete guess, and this Sturm Tiger is, in all honesty, it's a bit of a piece of shit. Yeah. I can't bring another Sturm Tiger on because they've still got this stupid population cap. Now, let me just get. Can I just get to a regular? Let's just go to that view there. The population cap was one of the annoyances from Company of Heroes 2. The population cap is set to 100. You cannot change this unless the map maker actually changes it as well. So the map maker can change it to 500, I think is the highest I've ever seen it. So if the maps are set to 100 and you can't set it to anything different, then you're going to be quite limited to what you bring on the field. This is as max as it's going to get for me. I can't bring anything else on the field at all. Absolutely nothing can I bring on. I am almost completely 100%. Let's just move this. You get the combat blitz for when the first piece of veterancy goes down, which is always nice to see. But generally, this is going to end. Now, this is the Americans. I'm not going to go into any detail. I may do a video about them. I may not. You can see for yourself. The Americans, it's all about manpower and just boosting the shit out of as much things as possible. Just trying to rush and win. And I think it's a bit buggy. I really think the base configuration is really buggy because the AI and my units can't really fight and destroy this with any ease. If this was the Russians or if the regular Germans, the game would have been over by now. But you have to destroy every single building, and because they're so tight packed, you can't fire through the other things. You have to kind of come round, and well, it's pretty shit. So the last thing you're going to see is the victory screen, where what happens is they decide, fuck it, we'll just bomb the shit out of it. And if I have any victory spoils, they should pop up any second. They don't pop up any second, and I've wasted another 30 odd minutes of my time and your time, I'm afraid. Regardless, I can just press continue playing if I wanted to. The enemy technically can still come back. They won't, because I'm basically in their spawn. But there we have it. Now, what happens for anyone who's never seen a victory spoil or a spoil of war spoils, whatever the fuck you want to call it, what will happen is a parachute will come in and it'll drop right on top of where your little bar is. And if it does, you get to open it and you get to see what goodies you've got, and you're liable to get something really shit and you'll feel like you've wasted 3 hours of your life. Anyway, what's just come in? Oh, just some reinforcements. My guys just absolutely murdered them. Anyway, that is it. I apologise for anyone who was expecting kind of a serious, like, let's play Company of Heroes 2, but I was really kind of bemused by the way the game has kind of developed, and then they come up with these, how do you, well, it wasn't very fun at all, and it wasn't very challenging because I didn't make it challenging. Regardless, the overview match stats are exactly the same. Generally, it's a very similar game to what it used to be, except they've made it a tiny bit worse as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you didn't get bored out your brain holes, and see you next time. Bye bye.